Hello everybody and welcome back to No Man's Sky with me, Caster, and in this one we're going to go through how you can make an open plan Corvette. Now you can't currently do this with the habs we have available to us, but there is a workaround we can do to make a very nice open plan space for our Corvette. So let's go to the Corvette workshop and we're going to create a new Corvette. We're going to start a fresh design. And we're just going to grab some landing gears here. Let's just put these in. And this is one where you might reach your 100 piece limit. So just be careful about which pieces you're using, because this sort of double hab here will be one piece, as where if you use the singular there'll be one piece, and if you're using, you know, two instead of the two piece, then you're using two instead of one. You know what I mean? It kind of makes sense. So let's grab some habs and we'll place these on. Now when you're doing this, it's usually going to have to be around the 3-story mark. It probably actually always is going to be the 3-story mark. So I'm just going to go through it and let's see how it goes. So we're going to place one on there as well. And then I'm going to place down just a front dock-in for now. And we're going to spin that around and place that on there. And what we need to do is make sure that we can actually enter into the area that we're going to create. So what we're going to do is grab some landing gear, and you can't really do this, I don't think, with the Ambassador one. I don't think it works very well. So what we're going to do is use the Titan one. We are going to need some other habs here as well to make the open space. What we can do to do this is put down a singular hab, then put on like the Titan walking bay, for example. Then we can take that off and you can see then it still stays there. If we just try and put this on here on its own, it won't do it unless you go into sort of free build mode, which you can only do in a roundabout way. So the easiest and quickest way to do it, in my opinion, is just to do it this way round, then get rid of you, and then we can put on a cockpit. So I actually want the Thunderbird cockpit. You can put it on something like that. Now obviously I'm not designing this to look fantastic. I will change it if I want to use this kind of ship. But as you can see there, we've got a way into our cockpit via the actual landing bay. And we need another one on the other side. So we basically just do the same thing, really. Depending on where you want it, we're going to go like this and spin it around like that and place that on there. And what you'll find here is that the actual landing ramp kind of goes into this hab, which isn't great. We kind of don't really want that. So we're going to get rid of that, and as you can see, they will stay there. And then what we're going to do is use these connecting pieces from the structural decoration. When you're doing this, what you're actually using is the top of the hab and this sort of area as your open plan build. So the ones that are best, in my opinion, are the ones that have the least amount of non-flat flat surface. The ones that have the most amount of flat surface are the best ones. So the relay joint, for example. And if we put that relay joint on there, what we'll see is that the landing gear does go down into this relay joint. And what we'll need to do is when we come onto here, we can make this a bit smaller if we want. So we can just sort of move it all across. Or you can make it bigger. It depends on how you want it, really. We can have sort of like a smaller open area, or we can have it bigger just by extending it out. But of course, the bigger it is, less maneuverable it is, the more clunky it is. So it just depends on how you really want it. Now, to build the actual floor out, as you can see here, I've changed it around a little bit. So both of the landing bay gear has gone into these relay joints, so they're not going to be in the way. This hab is basically useless unless you can put a staircase in there somehow, where you can. We'll do that in a minute, so you can get down into there if you want to, but obviously you'll lose a bit of floor space. But I'll have a look at that when we come to the interior design. Obviously we've got a way in now, and we'll put a staircase in here to lead upstairs to go into our open plan area. Now we need to build this out, and one way that we can do this, which I think is quite nice, is to grab one of the cowlings, and normally it's the firebox cowling. We can turn that upside down and flip it and place it around. I think this is probably the flattest one, but you know, you can make your mind up as what you want to do. As you can see, it's getting quite big. and coming out quite far. If we wanted to make it a little bit smaller, we could take these off, and then we could go with like a relay joint again. Remember that you're using a lot of your parts. Now obviously the cowling is bigger, so you're getting more for your piece, if you like, depending on how big you want it. But we can put a bunch of joints down. Yes, we can, by the way, put any of the other joints down, but like I said, it will look, you know, when you're walking around on top of this, it will look quite strange. You can put rugs down on things to make it flatter. You can obviously build it however you like, but I just like the flatter kind of items to make the floor, which is what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go for this kind of width on both sides. The reason why I said that it's going to be 3 stories high is because you might want to put a roof on this. And if you do, then it is going to be 3 stories high. If you don't and you want it open plan, you know, you can do that as well. But you are going to need some walls on either side. So let's put some walls on. So there you go. I've put the walls on either side. And what I've done is used the radiator casing for the bottom and the swept casing for the top. I did start off trying to think about the albatross side pod, but it just made it a lot wider, double as wide as it is now onto the walls. So what I'm going to do is just fill in the sides, put some other build pieces on, and we'll see what it looks like. So as you can see, I've enclosed the space with a bunch more build items. Is it the prettiest looking at the moment? No. Is it something that I would build for myself? No. It's just a representation of how this can be done. Now, to put the roof on, if you wanted a roof, of course, you could do this many different ways. And you know, you could try and glitch it in there, so we could do something like this and build it out that way, or whatever you wanted to do, although that's, you know, obviously looks a bit strange, but you kind of get the point. You can make it into like a crazy design, part of the beauty of No Man's Sky. If we come out of this and finalize our current design, we can compare it, and we can just add this ship to collection. I will not be having this ship in my collection, that's for sure. I'm going to build this out properly. But what we're going to do now is go into our build menu. I'll press up on my D-pad controller, and we can put a staircase in here, and then we can walk straight up into our open area. And now what we can do is put a bunch of items in here. We can make this how we want. Look, we've got access to all of our decorations and all of our build pieces for the internal part of the starship. So if we go into our cockpit there, obviously we can fly around. If we go out into space and leave our pilot seat, we can open this hatch. Right, and it will open out like that onto the actual floor, which is quite cool. I like it. And yeah, we can walk around here. Look, we have an open air, open space Corvette. And that's how easy it is to do that. I mean, you can have this as large, of course, or as sort of small as you like. So we could just have this one hab here. We could go to and from, or yeah, you can build it out however you want, of course. That's the beauty of building in No Man's Sky. Obviously to the 100 piece limit. One thing I have found is that all these items here, the interior modules, the utility modules at the top, they have to be fitted into the hab. You can't really fit them outside here. So if we put in a staircase at the top of our hab here, we could then go down into them, put those in. Look, we're inside the hab now, which is nice. But we can put all of the other items out here. I don't think you can put these in. They're going to have to be in a hab as well. That is the cargo. So all of these sort of interior modules are for the hab, as where the deployable modules and the advanced technology I think we can put out here. So we can put all of the weapon racks, and you know, we can have this weird anomaly seal out here if we want, and obviously rugs and all kinds of different things. You can put this out as you like. So making an open plan Corvette is doable in No Man's Sky. It's just a bit different than than I would want it in the future. I'm hoping that they give us habs that will actually attach, and you'll have better open rooms if you like. And of course, putting a nice roof on this might be the way to go as well. No, it is not a pleasure vessel. It is not one of those. So that is how you make an open plan Corvette in No Man's Sky. This is just a representation, of course. Build to your heart's content. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care out there, and bye-bye.